G'day Gurus. Today we're diving into some essential maintenance for your MacBook Pro. It's been a while since I last cleaned mine, so I'm excited to share this process with you. I aim to clean my laptops every 6 months, however, I actually do it when the fans bother me. Additionally, in this video, I will prove if adding thermal pads to the CPU and GPU improves cooling. By the end of the video, you'll know how to keep your MacBook Pro running cooler and faster. Let's get started. Stage 1. Bench tests. Firstly, I'm running tests to get a baseline for the MacBook Pro's performance and temperatures. For this, I'm using Geekbench and a bash script I've written in a tune. The script will capture the CPU temperature, fan speed, and CPU frequency. It's important to mention that all these tests are conducted with screen recording, which will impact the results. However, since I'll be screen recording during every test, any performance impact will be consistent across all stages, ensuring a fair comparison. Stage 2. Clean and replace thermal paste and test. Now let's open up the MacBook and get to work on cleaning out the dust from the fans and heat sinks. Dust buildup will reduce your machine's cooling efficiency. We want to make sure everything is nice and clean. I'll rush through the teardown of the MacBook. There's plenty of resources such as iFix that teach you how to pull your machine apart. I'm using thermal paste cleaner and simply following the instructions on the bottle. Old thermal paste can dry out and lose effectiveness, reducing the cooling efficiency. Apply the new thermal paste and begin putting it all back together. We test again. Stage 3. Adding thermal pads and test. Adding the thermal pads is quick and easy. I cut the thermal pads to size and place them on the CPU and GPU. I expect the thermal pads to improve heat transfer from the CPU and GPU. We test again. The results. Now that we've completed all 3 stages, let's analyze the results and see how each step impacted the performance and cooling efficiency of the MacBook Pro. Starting with the baseline results in stage 1 and comparing them to stage 2 and stage 3, we can draw some interesting conclusions. In stage 1, we measured the performance and cooling of the MacBook as it was without any cleaning or modifications. The average temperature was high at 92.58 degrees Celsius, and the fans were spinning at 5,363 RPM to keep things under control. The CPU frequency averaged at 3,180 MHz, and the Geekbench scores were 1,214 for single core and 5,359 for multi-core. This shows the MacBook was struggling to manage heat effectively. After cleaning the fans and heat sinks and replacing the thermal paste on the CPU and GPU, we saw noticeable improvements. The average temperature dropped slightly to 91.51 degrees Celsius, and the fan speed decreased significantly to 4,742 RPM. The CPU frequency increased to 3,326 MHz, indicating better thermal performance. Geekbench test results also improved slightly, with the single-core score rising to 1,240 and the multi-core score reaching 5,543. This step clearly enhanced the cooling and allowed the MacBook to run more efficiently. In stage 3, we added thermal pads to the CPU and GPU to improve heat dissipation further. Interestingly, while the average temperature dropped significantly to 88.47 degrees Celsius, the performance showed a slight decline. The CPU frequency reduced to 3,206 MHz, and the Geekbench scores decreased to 1,163 for single core and 5,256 for multi-core. This was surprising, as I expected the pads to complement the heat dissipation for better overall performance. So why did the thermal pads lead to a reduction in performance? I'd be interested to hear your opinion on this. Overall, the cleaning and thermal paste replacement provided the most noticeable benefits, while the thermal pads helped with temperatures but introduced some trade-offs in performance. These results highlight the importance of carefully considering each modification's impact. If you've encountered similar results or have insights as to why the performance dipped, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts.